And we are live! Hello, everybody. Welcome to Quitscast, the Team Fortress 2 podcast? Kinda? It's not really that anymore, but it's a thing. It's an opportunity for me and a guest to play Team Fortress 2 together and talk about all of the things that really matter to them, maybe to you. Who can really tell? I am joined today by a human individual who can only really be described in terms of soft toys and general nice hugs. I am, of course, talking about community manager for Mojang's Minecraft. You might have heard of it. Helen Angel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Also, former TF2 comp player and Steam rep admin and
I don't.
TF2 outpost
I didn't know
admin.
whether or not I should mention those things. I mean, you're
Yeah.
those days seem so far away now.
Well, yeah, because it was like 6 years ago.
Weirdly,
Something
like
like that,
I've
yeah.
never left Team Fortress 2. It is my game. It is the one thing that like it is almost part of my identity now. And I guess that was the same for a lot of people. And half of the reason for doing this show in the first place was we could cycle through some of like the old school boys and the girls that have made up the history of Team Fortress 2 and kind of ask them like what have they been doing, why did they leave or have they left, and like what have they gone on to, and I think yours is probably one of the more peculiar stories, like definitely the more
Yeah.
unexpected.
Yeah, definitely. So I went so I let me go back.
All the I've got no. I need a graphics engine for doing all that kind of thing. By the way, while we're doing this, I'm going to be playing some games, and you're going to be downloading Team Fortress 2. So yeah. Anyway,
Yes, yes.
going back. Okay.
Yes. So I guess it was back in 2013, and I had just gotten divorced from Maddie, who's also a Steam Rep admin, but we had an amicable divorce and moved up to the Seattle area because I had several friends at the time who worked at Valve, and they were like, you have done such an amazing job with the Valve community. We're pretty sure, that we can get you an opportunity with Valve and such.
Hmm.
So I came up to Seattle with my son and my two cats and everything that I could fit in my tiny little Honda Civic, and came up, and within like 2 weeks I was recruited by Microsoft to be a community manager at at that time Microsoft Studios, which is now Xbox Game Studios,
Right.
and working specifically on the now almost 30-year franchise game Solitaire, like Microsoft Solitaire. I mean,
Wait.
everybody,
No. No.
yes, yes,
I mean,
everybody,
but
everybody's played
but
Solitaire.
it makes no sense having like any kind of a community surrounding solitaire. It's solitaire. Like,
Well, that's what you would think,
but
but
it's a solo game that you play on your own when your computer won't install like anything.
well,
It comes with
that's
your
true.
PC.
Well, at that time, Microsoft was really it kind of testing the ground with having more like dedicated community managers and stuff like that. And they had seen what the value of community managers on some other games like Wordament and such, the value that they had brought.
Hmm.
And there were tons of people who were talking about Solitaire on Facebook, for instance. But there wasn't an official Solitaire page and stuff like that because Solitaire has daily challenges, for instance, and now has events and stuff. But yeah, there's so I was hired, not just that, but also I had a total of 27 games that I was community managing in my portfolio of
Right.
games. So I helped launch like some Disney titles and stuff like that, primarily focusing on family friendly and I guess mobile and PC games. And also was community manager for Age of Empires. I was on the Age of Empires community team, so I helped launch Age of Mythology, the expansion packs for Age of Empires 2, Rise of Nations. I was the community lead on. And then I also took over doing community management for the Zoo Tycoon franchise, which had an Xbox One title at the time and a mobile title in development.
Yeah.
So I was doing quite a few games, and then at the same time, I had launched the communities for the various Microsoft casual games. And let me tell you, there is a lot of talk about solitaire. Like we have solitaire influencers on YouTube.
I
Like
it,
I'm not even kidding.
I mean, it sounds like you're making this shit up. I've got to tell you, like, every part of this is like a joke, and
Oh yeah.
there is no way that you have like
Oh yeah. No. Honestly,
people
and
willing to
truthfully,
admit that they play solitaire. I'm just going to come out and say it. Like, I mean, I have admittedly played it in the past. That has been part of my life, but I've grown up since then. I play the games now.
oh, but you'll come back to solitaire. The running joke is that, you go and you play, you start with solitaire, you play a bunch of other games, and then as you get older, you come back to solitaire
You
because,
realise that you'd made a terrible mistake and you shouldn't have left solitaire in the first place.
or it's just it keeps, especially as you grow older, games like solitaire and Mahjong, for instance, they actually help keep your brain still, thinking. Thinking. And solitaire is actually used in a lot of nursing homes for patients who have Alzheimer's and whatnot as part of therapy. So
Right.
it actually works really well. But yeah, so now I'm gonna completely blow your mind.
I mean,
So I
that's
was
going to be easy. You've already blown my mind by telling me that people have a reason to play solitaire. Go on.
so we so it was right. It was in 2015, and at that time, I had also added Minecraft, specifically the console edition. I was doing community management for, and also doing all my other games as well. And we knew that Solitaire's 25th anniversary was coming up, so I pitched a esports tournament for Solitaire, and then we were like, hey, why don't we make it like a real esports tournament, like do it in person with Microsoft employees? So we actually had a live band playing out in the quad. This is all on the main Microsoft campus in Redmond, Washington. So we had a live band playing out in the crowd with like free food and stuff like that. And then inside we had the final tournament, which we live streamed on Twitch, and we had front page on Twitch. This was before the carousel. We had front page on Twitch, and it was myself and Christina. We had Kudo Sonoda, who was at the time the head of Redmond
Yeah.
Microsoft Studios, and we did like this 4-hour esports tournament of solitaire. I kid you not. We even had like the esports golf towels that we gave out to people. We had Microsoft solitaire water
I
bottles
mean,
that we had
esports
made.
golf towel seems appropriate for solitaire, but um, what does a esports solitaire tournament look like? Just a bunch of old people strapped into their chairs.
Oh
Um,
no, no. Well, it was people who, I mean, it was everybody from like interns all the way up to like older Microsoft employees, right?
right.
But I'd say probably the average age was probably about 25, 26. And we had the week leading up to it, we had a old that we borrowed from the Living Computer Museum, which is here in Seattle. We had an old PC that was running the very first version of Solitaire, which was on Windows 3.1. So people could play that, or they could play in one of the qualifying tournaments. So we actually have a fantastic developer named Ethan Pasternak who handcrafts the challenges. And so he had crafted extremely difficult master challenges that we used for the qualifiers. So you would have to basically come back and and try to complete as many challenges as you could, because there's 5 different modes of solitaire. There's Klondike, Tri-Peak, Spider, uh, Pyramid, and Free Cell. So you would have to complete all 5 challenges in order to, and whatever your scores were. And then we took the top 10 people, invited them back for the ultimate tournament. And we even had like player profiles and stuff like that. And we called them out by their Xbox gamer tag. They had their own dedicated PC. I mean, it was seriously esports legal. Everybody had standardized hardware, and we're using official accounts, so, and had their own stations where they had little blinders on the side so that they couldn't look over at somebody else's screen and stuff like that.
Okay,
Like
yeah. So it's probably
yeah,
well done, fully well done then.
yeah. So, and that was like, it was so covered by the news because people just could not believe that Solitaire was having a tournament, that it actually got parodied by Jimmy Fallon on the Tonight Show.
Genius.
And I remember when I was actually running day 3 of the qualifiers, and Paul, who's the head of the Microsoft Casual Game Studio, he comes running over, which I had rarely seen Paul run before, and he goes, "We just got a call, and tonight Jimmy Fallon is doing a piece on the solitaire tournament." And we all just looked at each other and just started like squealing and like, like we were so thrilled. And even though it was like a parody,
Yeah.
it was a funny parody, and it was amazing. Like I'd never had a game that I'd work on be covered by, something as huge as like the Tonight Show.
I mean, it's
So
it's a big game in as much as it has existed for a long time, and theoretically people should be aware of it. Uh,
yeah,
and it's big in terms of it being. I don't know whether Microsoft is big. Xbox is big, but I don't know whether
yeah,
Microsoft is Xbox, or like does it count
is
as being a? Yeah, I know technically it is, but like does Microsoft see Xbox as being theirs, or does Xbox like almost want to, like, it's trying to shun off its dad's like reputation? Like it's driving around in its dad's car, uh,
mhm.
but like his dad's car is a convertible. I don't know, Pinto. I don't know what the cars are like in the states, but like it's convertible Mercedes, but like an old one, not a new one. And it just kind of wants to distance itself from that.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely under Microsoft, maybe Microsoft of old more saw it as that, but the new Microsoft under Satya Nadella, or as people tell me all the time, the kindler, gentler Microsoft,
Wow. Okay.
definitely sees the value of Xbox. So much so that Phil Spencer, who's led Xbox since Don Matrick left, he is actually reports in directly to Satya Nadella now. So the entire Xbox slash gaming arm of Microsoft, for the first time, has its entire own division in Microsoft. So it's definitely valued, and has, a lot of resources obviously dedicated to it, because it's really come back to Microsoft changing its vision to helping every person and organization on the planet achieve more. And you can actually achieve a lot through games. So, but going back to, and I have a point to make about that. So going
Yeah,
back,
yeah. Sometime
2015.
later. Yeah, go on.
Yes, so going back to 2015, so we did this tournament, and that was also kind of my swan song, because right after that, I was brought into Mojang to do community management for the entire franchise. So
Right.
this was about um 4 5 months after Mojang joined Microsoft, after Notch sold Minecraft, Mojang AB, and
Yeah.
all of the companies
I.
associated with Mojang.
Do you know what? For a moment, then I know that there's a connection, but for a moment, then my mind was thinking, how is Microsoft connected to Mojang? But like, no, genuinely, because like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, I remember the conversation. I remember like the thing where Notch was became a billionaire kind of overnight, if it wasn't already. Um,
Mhm.
and like the house that he bought, and that kind of transitional period. Which, I mean, at the time, I also remember Microsoft really, I mean, I don't know whether they had plans or not, or they were just cashing in on what was possibly seen at the time as being like a really good opportunity, too good to pass up. But I don't know whether they actually had any plans for Microsoft. Sorry, for Mojang when they bought it.
It's
I mean,
interesting.
were
Oh, go
you?
on.
I mean, presumably you were brought in to work for them, like after the transition, after the purchase. Were you there to like experience it for yourself, the first days of Mojang, Microsoft Combine?
Not as Mojang, but as Microsoft. So I had heard internally whispers about that. I mean, I had seen Notch's tweets that he wanted to sell, right?
Yeah.
So, but until the book came out, well, actually, it turned out that my boss was one of the people who actually, my boss at the time, or my first boss at Mojang, my
Yeah.
first manager at Mojang, it turns out that he actually was one of the key people who navigated and closed the sale of Mojang and Microsoft. He's Swedish. His name is Peter Zetterberg. He is actually kind of a legend in the video game space in Sweden because he had one of the first video game studios in Sweden and stuff like that. So he knew all of the guys also because he helped negotiate the deals for Minecraft on console as well. So who at the time was being developed by 4J Studios. And they they basically there was a text that was sent out. You know, the Notch had tweeted that,
Yeah.
and then soon after, Peter then texted I'm trying Jacob Porser, I believe, and said, and this was all in Swedish basically, and said, "Is he serious?" And he said, "I don't know. Let me get back to you." And then replied and said, "Yes, he is. We'll talk tomorrow." And then from there, it all went forward. But the thing is like that it was kept very, very hush hush. So much so that the folks who worked at Mojang didn't know that this was happening.
Oh,
Other
damn.
than, so to them, so when everybody found out that Mojang was being bought by Microsoft, Mojang employees at the time were one of the last people to know.
Well, I mean,
So,
working big corporate, you kind of expect that. You have your level, whatever level that is, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, and then the big boss. The big boss makes
well,
amazing, like drastic world events kind of changes, and eventually you find out about it. You find about it when your job's on the line, or you find out about it when, uh, I don't know, when you're suddenly competing for your own job, and you've got to explain to someone else what it is you actually do or why you're valuable to the company. But I mean, like, you kind of expect that of huge, like multi-billion-dollar corporation.
mhm,
You don't really expect it of. I mean a one game studio. I mean I know they had
right.
Oxeye and they had like 4 or 5 games by the time that they sold, but it was essentially a single game studio.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a small studio, and that was why it came as such a shock to people because they they hadn't heard about it. At that time there were only I think there was only around 50 employees at Mojang.
Yeah,
And they not because they didn't want to hire more people, by the way, but it was that there were projects that were stopped and started and stuff like that, and
yeah,
things were kind of, like Scrolls was continuing and stuff like that, but
yep,
things were kind of like not really focused, like efforts weren't really focused and stuff
yep,
like that. And honestly, like Marcus Notch, he just wanted to do different things, right?
yep,
He had stopped working on Minecraft in 2011, right? He had already handed over all of that to Jens, who still works for Mojang, and he's one of our chief creative officers.
right.
So anything that goes to Mojang goes through Jens first, but or sorry, anything that goes into Minecraft goes through Jens first. But yeah, it was definitely, and that was probably because it was such a small company was why it was one of the reasons why it was such a shock to people that they found out that way. But But yeah, so that was, and then right after, one of the things that people asked was they said, like, when they went to Mojang employees and said, okay, so what you guys need? They said, we need more people.
Yeah.
Right? We have this huge game. We don't have nearly enough people to help with it. Like, we want to do all these things and we can't. So we don't have enough people. So that's when myself got brought on, several other folks got brought on. And then we've been all working together since, and it's been pretty great. And then we've been expanding the franchise significantly. So we had let's see, in 2015, later that year, we launched Crown and Council, the little known game that we made that's on the only game made by Mojang that's actually on Steam, and it's
Right.
free.
Wow. Okay. I was completely
And
unaware of the existence of that game. So.
yeah, exactly. We didn't really what's it called? We didn't really put any marketing behind it or anything like that, because it's just like a little game and it's a free game. So we just kind of like tossed it on there. And then we had, soon after, we took the Pocket Edition, right, and we ported it to Windows Phone. So then we had it then at the time on on all mobile platforms. And then the Pocket Edition was, of course, written in C++ because, phones can't run Java. And then folks were talking about and saying, you know what, we should just go ahead and just rewrite a bunch of stuff from Java in C++ and use this as like a code base, right?
Yeah.
So that we can get on more platforms and stuff like that. So that is what became of the Bedrock code base, which today powers Minecraft Earth and Education Edition, Education Edition China, China Edition.
I mean,
Um,
it definitely
it
does
has
sound
native
like a
VR
Microsoft
support.
studio when you start talking about the billions of bit editions.
Oh yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I,
Well, back
of
then
which
it was
I'm completely
iOS and
oblivious
Android.
to. Minecraft Earth.
Yeah, Minecraft Earth. It's not fully out. It's in early access right now on iOS and Android, but it is a AR game.
Right.
So it's
Oh,
pretty cool
okay.
and it's free.
I think I may have seen something of this of some nature at some stage. Wait, an error has occurred. No, apparently like that. Um, yeah, but you wiggle your phone around your normal environment and you see things that aren't really there.
Sometimes.
Yes, that is correct. Like, you see the map, and then you have a bunch of things on the map. Basically, like, there's things called adventures, and because of COVID now, we actually have adventures that you can kind of take with you. And so we have
I mean, because of COVID, it
that
presumably is
Tapables.
adventures you can't take anywhere.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
Stay home.
and then we have what's it called? Tappables, which is where you can get things. So like, you'll see sheep or pigs or treasure chests or trees, and you tap on them, and then that's how you get resources. And then when you do building mode, there's two different modes. There's build, where you just build, and then there's play, which is what? Do I have items in my inventory? Wait,
I don't know.
what? I
You-
have new items. How did I get refined metal?
Oh,
Randomly.
I see you're launching TF2 for the first time in like 8 years or something.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's interesting.
Oh,
This is
yep.
winter 2019
I
war
was
paint.
about to say you are about to get like 1 billion war paint and various other cases for winter things. Seem to be dropping on us from my head.
$45.99. What the heck?
Sorry, what?
What the heck, man? People complain about, like, this stuff is so expensive. Holy cow.
I don't have to buy any of it.
$60?
What?
Oh
What are
my
you talking about?
I'm just looking at the bundles.
Yeah,
These are like Oh my gosh, these are so expensive. You know what? I refuse. Anytime anybody complains about how much, like a marketplace map is,
Yeah.
I'm just going to point them directly to TF2
Yeah,
and
but
say, one, all of our maps benefit our Minecraft creators, and they set the prices for it. And
hmm.
two, have you seen microtransactions in other games like Team Fortress 2? $60?
Yeah, but
Like,
all of the items in Team Fortress 2 are entirely optional. Like, they're all cosmetic. Anything you have to pay
so
for is
they are in
cosmetic.
Minecraft too.
Yeah, but in
Everything
Minecraft,
in
the only thing that matters is cosmetic. Whereas TF2, the only thing that matters is how well you play.
I don't know.
Like
Coming from
it's
the creative
hats. Oh yeah, sure. But like if you watch people who trade, like the actual traders, they don't care about the game. They don't care about
Oh
playing
yeah, I know.
TF2. They just want to stand in a room and compare hats.
That is
And like
very true.
if that's your thing, then sure, make it your thing. But like that's not really the core game. It's just a quirky little add-on you get to, I don't know, brag about, talk about, spend your money on if you want to. I
Here,
mean,
let me
like
get.
so like Minecraft. Going back to it for a moment is, I mean, it's the game is kind of it's significantly bigger than when I stopped playing it and have subsequently started playing it again. It incorporates many like facets, but
Mhm.
like one of the many sort of diversionary like splits is between those who play on Bedrock and those who play on Java Edition. And Bedrock is the one that has like the DLC or the microtransactions, and Java is the one that seems to be, I kind of want to say like fan favorite because it's what people modify.
Well, people modify on Bedrock now too, because Bedrock has an official modding API now.
Right.
So there's oh gosh, I don't remember any of the controls. No, it's not alt.
Oh, are you with me now? We should probably go and find a server that's good for you. I joined a server in Europe, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to join a server in uh, the US. So go over to
Oh, it's probably Washington State.
Reckon.
Yeah, because otherwise it would say Washington D.C., but it would probably say Virginia anyway.
But those are. Let's go Chicago since we're having a chat in Chicago anyway.
Yeah,
Uh,
Chicago sounds great.
I can find a good server that is gonna be this. So we want to find somewhere that's got somebody on it, but not too many. So let's go to server number 205, the creators.tf servers. Either follow me in
Know how any of this works anymore.
there.
Like, do I still have loadout?
Okay, so if you go to creators.tf/servers,
Uh-huh.
and then server 205, there's a connect button. If you click on that, click on the word connect, and it will connect you into the server. And it's just like joining any other server. So you've got what your normal loadouts are, and everything else is just expected to be.
Oh my
Are
gosh,
you
it's
asking?
resized all of my windows. No.
Well, I mean, I play in a like borderless window version of Team Fortress 2. Got a 2K screen. I play it in 1080. So I defy you to have a more peculiar configuration of TF2.
Yes, I want to open Steam Client Bootstrapper. Sure.
What?
That's what it said.
Okay.
It said, do you want to, when I clicked on it, it said, do you want to open Steam Client Bootstrapper? I'm like, yeah, I guess. When I clicked on connect. It should be
Oh
connecting.
yes, yeah, no, it should. Yeah, you're right. It's been such a long time since I've done it. That's yeah.
Yeah. Shift tab? Yeah, it's shift tab that does the overlay. Okay. It's slowly coming back to me. It's slowly coming back to
This
me.
has
But
got to be like learning to ride a bike for you after you've like ridden one for 10 years, but like gone away for a while.
yes. Now I could tell you how to do anything in Minecraft almost on Java or Bedrock or
I
Education
okay.
or China.
Right, speaking about Minecraft, and this conversation will inevitably come back to Minecraft again and again and again, because if nothing else, you are definitely doing your job as community manager for Minecraft by bringing it up. Like I've got a bone to pick with you. Like the default controls, it's not your fault. It was Mojang's fault, or whoever designed it in the first place. But like the default controls for crouching in Minecraft is shift, and the default for run is control. So, are you aware that you're creating a whole new breed of gamers who don't know how to run and don't know how to crouch? Like, the first thing they'll do when they get into like any other game is try and run and like wonder why they're sinking down and moving slowly.
Oh yes. Oh yes. That has actually been brought up to me many, many times. And then I say, just change your keybind. And they're like, but that's the default. I'm like, just change your keybind. So actually, I believe on Bedrock, we had changed it, but then we had to change it back because we needed parity with Java. So we had them reversed. But then we changed them back because people said, oh, but now it's not parity with Java. So we always want to make, one day, Java and Bedrock will look and feel pretty much exactly the same, because our goal is, what? Oh my gosh, that's loud.
Yeah,
Wow.
I set my volume to. I've gone to console and typed volume space 0.02, but I think it's a bit low realistically, just playing the game. But yeah, I would have. I have in most games the volume off. I just play by the skin of my teeth. Normally, where I get stabbed a lot, I can't hear spies uncloaking.
Oh, there we go. There we go. No, now I've turned it down too low. Let's try this.
It's good that you can fiddle with it though.
I'll figure it out. Let's see, 0.02. Oh, another cool thing that I did, I guess, well, 5 years ago, was I got in a relationship with, and then got engaged to, and then married Sneeza, who is the creator of TF2, of the now dearly departed TF2 Outpost.
Wait, he's not dearly departed. TF2 Outpost is dearly departed.
Yes, TF2 Outpost is dearly departed. Sneeza is definitely very alive and well, and I could throw something at him if I wanted to, but I don't, because he's my husband and he's great. So, but yeah. Oh gosh.
That you could throw something to him, that like he's within
Yes.
throwing distance, as opposed to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, that makes sense. All makes significantly more. I'm desperately hoping that I don't get kicked from this server. I'm setting up the Steam post to say come and join us in this. So that should be up soon, and this server will suddenly become a lot fuller.
Wow, the Community Sparkle on my Community Sparkle Gunslinger actually is on my hands and not on my butt. They fixed it.
They
That's
fixed
pretty.
it. But well,
I'm happy about that.
for a thing that affects like so few people in the world, it's nice to know that they got around to it.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Is anyone in the server? I can't.
Oh gosh. Don't remember how to do anything. Okay, gosh, I don't even remember this. I don't remember like anything. It's really sad.
Fine.
Hey, the spy is me. Man, I suck at shooting so badly. Oh no, I just got taken out by a scout.
Okay.
Man, gosh, this is definitely like playing a bike. I genuinely haven't played TF2 since 2015. So that's 5 years.
Wait, are we in the same server?
I believe so. I did the same server that I did
You-
server 204.
205.
Oh, whoops. Then no, we're not.
You
I guess I
doing?
better change that.
Yeah, I've just put out an announcement for like our entire Steam
Okay,
group.
I
Please
will
come in
fix
here quickly.
that. I will fix that. Let's see. Disconnect. Leave. Okay. Now I will go to the actual server that I should have, which is 205. There we go. Glassworks. I don't even know that map. Is that a new map?
Wait, it's on.
Oh, maybe
Oh no,
it
yeah,
didn't.
no, it's fine. It's updated. The server is it's Upward. We're playing on, but
Okay. Okay, Upward I remember. But
yeah, that's fine. Oh, you scared me for a moment. Then I thought I just sent you to the wrong server, like I was on the right one and you were on the wrong one or something. No,
but
we're good.
but
We're
you know
good.
what Sneeza's up to? So Sneeza, after TF2 Outpost, so he left Zam,
Yep.
who he sold TF2 Outpost to, and then he started his own game studio.
Thing?
So he is it's called Endgame Interactive.
Yep.
So he's made let's see, Zoms Royale, Spins. Zoms is their
Yeah,
most popular game to
Zoms is
date.
insane. I checked you guys out a few days ago when I heard or when I found out you were going to be on, just to see for myself what it was that you were up to, and Zoms like Zoms Royale is this, I want to say HTML5 game. Not certain that's true, but it
No,
is.
it's Unity.
All right. Okay. I mean, it felt to me like playing like one of the old games that used to be in Flash. I can't remember what that group was called. Something ground something. Anyway, like it felt like an old school kind of Flash game, but you're playing almost as a little circle with fists, and you have to run around like it's a battle royale game where you pick up guns and shoot other people. And I was not like within moments I was not awful at it. And I strongly suspect that if I continued playing, moments afterwards, I would have been significantly not awful at it. But yeah, it seemed like a jolly good game. But like according to the blurb on the website, 500 million people playing it.
Yep.
It's too many.
Well, there's more than that playing Minecraft. I guess I won't even tell you how many people play Minecraft, but it's a lot.
I mean, sorry, actually actively play it or have downloaded
Actively play it. Actively play it, like on a daily/weekly basis.
Track that information.
Telemetry. Anonymous telemetry.
But is it something that like has always been trackable because Microsoft Yo, or is it just something that's like
No.
every time you log into the game, presumably it will log you? I didn't think it did that.
Yeah, it's basically every time you log into the game. But oh, there's a spy somewhere. Man, stop sapping my sentry. Yeah, so there's always been telemetry, but we had gosh, I don't remember how to do this. But we had the but we specifically had, I'm trying to think. So in Java Edition, we've always had telemetry until GDPR. And then we had like some issues with Mojang accounts being really old and not GDPR compliant. So we had to rip all of the telemetry out of Java Edition. But we've always had, like, in the past, we've always had the ability to see, like, what the player count is and stuff like that. So, but for Bedrock, because it uses Microsoft accounts, it is totally GDPR compliant, and we were able to anonymously get data on that, someone is playing and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but Bedrock, actually, because Bedrock is on Oculus, iOS, Android, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Kindle OS, Fire TV, and
So,
natively supports VR, AR, and now RTX. I mean, Bedrock is a beast of a code base. It really is.
I was going to say, so, I mean, from my perspective, like being a pure PC gamer, like the fact that you had two versions was, well, super irrelevant because obviously Java's the one that everyone plays. But I mean, that's not the case. I mean, presumably Java's the one that people who want to like self-modify or run any of the custom mods on a PC play. But Bedrock is important to the company. But all of the variants that, or all of the versions in console, etc., that are played.
Well, they're both important. They're both equally important. So Bedrock,
spoken like a true ambassador.
Well, I mean, it is. So we have this. Our mantra is one Minecraft, two code bases. So one of the things that we have wanted to do forever is that no matter what you have, like whether it's a good PC, bad PC, what have you,
yeah.
No matter what it is, mobile phone, you can have the same Minecraft experience. It's not like you're not going to be penalized because you can't afford a PC that can run Java.
There is no such thing as poor and Irish in Microsoft. Or in Mojang.
I mean, we definitely we want people to be able to play our game regardless. So that's super important to us. And one of the ways that we obviously, because Java will only run on PCs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we had to do is try to do everything we can to make the two code bases parity, essentially.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to keep going the same way. And the other thing too is we have, with our Bedrock code base, is we have opened up a way for anybody in the Minecraft community to actually be able to make a living off of Minecraft in a very similar way that the Steam Marketplace exists, where you can make items for the Steam Marketplace and you can sell it and you can make a living off of it. We have that in the Bedrock edition.
I mean,
so when you go into
so the Steam version, at least for Team Fortress 2, it's very much a curated system, whereby
it's curated in for ours as well.
Okay, so anyone can make anything and upload it, but somebody like a human or possibly a human, possibly a computer.
No, it's definitely a human. So
a human has to come in and say yes, that's okay.
Yeah, we actually go a little bit further, and we use the Microsoft Partners Program. So, because of course we didn't want to have to build all of that ourselves, right? So we have an application form that you do, and you apply to be a creator in the marketplace. And then once you, or your team to be a creator in the marketplace.
Yep.
And then once you do that, that is when you can start posting things in the marketplace. But you have to also, we have a series of checks and balances to basically make sure that quality content is going out.
Right, okay.
So first you go through our content team, which is led by longtime content, Realms content moderator, because we already have free content on Java Realms, and now we have free content on Bedrock Realms as well.
Right.
And Mark Watson's team does that. And they look to make sure that you're following brand guidelines, that your map is actually good. And then
I mean,
after that, it then
yeah.
goes to our test team, and then we do technical tests to make sure it runs on all of our platforms, because we have 12 different platforms that Bedrock supports, and they're all very different. So after that's when it gets released on the marketplace. And the creators, they set the price entirely. We don't tell them at all how much to set it for. That's 100% up to them. They choose when it releases. So we've really put the power in the hands of the creators. We just have
How
extra
much
things
of
to
a
help them.
good idea is that, though? I mean, I've certainly seen YouTube channels, not necessarily dedicated to, but certainly running like reviews on content, where they've discovered that maps or houses or bases have been priced at $15 or $10 or $5 or whatever the maximum is, but the actual content in their minds, given what's involved, is worth like 10p, if that. So why did you go with the decision of allowing the content creators to price their own goods, and given that the content itself is monitored, why isn't the price monitored?
Because we want, well, first of all, the market kind of evens itself out, right? If nobody thinks that something is worth something, nobody's going to buy it, right? The second thing is that, especially with Minecraft, content is extremely subjective. Like, for instance, Skyblock. There are some people, that's an entire genre that some folks in the Minecraft community think is completely worthless. They don't enjoy it. They don't enjoy
I
playing it. They don't understand why other people enjoy playing it.
I,
So they
I
think
don't
that
even know
all
what it is.
Skyblock
So
maps, yeah. So they think that all Skyblock
oh,
maps
Skyblock,
are
yeah,
horrible.
okay.
And so you're going to have those people who are going to think that. And then there's some people who don't see the worth of survival spawns. You'll see some people who don't find the worth in certain types of adventure maps and stuff like that. So
I mean,
because it's so very, very subjective, and it can, it really, really varies wildly between people on what they feel is valuable and what they feel isn't valuable.
so is there any way beyond not simply sort of voting with your money and not buying something? Is there any way of complaining or drawing Microsoft's Mojang's attention towards something that they feel has been either improperly uh, priced or improperly described? Is there any payback for doing a bad thing? I mean, if
well,
you manage to
yes, I mean,
break the rules but haven't technically broken any rules, are you in any way punished?
oh yes, definitely. So because we don't have a fully open system, because of the fact that we do choose the creators in our ecosystem, we can kick people out of it too. So if you're doing things like you're, consistently doing things that are not within the community's best interest, we can remove you as a marketplace partner, remove your stuff off of the store. We can also remove pieces of content if, for whatever reason, they have issues or whatnot. So, we absolutely have that ability to do that. But most of the time, because we do talk to the creators, and we have a very good relationship with them, which we call our partners, right? We talk with them. So, like, for instance, if there's the community is complaining about a map, first of all, it's going to show up in my weekly community report,
Right.
right? And then we have partner managers. Every marketplace partner has their own dedicated manager within Mojang. So, and every server partner.
Damn
So
you for
we
killing me! Sorry, carry on.
so we have, like, they have a constant conversation with us. It's not like we just leave them to their own devices in the wild world or anything like that. And we try to help them through it too. So if they're producing content that is repeatedly getting just panned by the community. Also, we have reviews in the game too of marketplace content. So before you buy a map, you can see, for instance, that a map has had like 2,000 reviews
Yep.
and it's only scored 3 stars. Then maybe this is not like the best value for my money, right? So we do have a review system. Hopefully, we'll have written reviews soon.
Okay.
But that's actually more difficult to implement. But we do have that star system at least, so you can see that.
Yeah,
But
you kind of like suddenly put in mind of what pain Amazon must go through with people like leaving reviews that are not real reviews or reviews for products that haven't been purchased. Or I mean, is there any way of like, is there a oh, hold on, I've been challenged to a duel. Yeah, I'll go. Right. Is there any way, for example, of or would you sort of consider there to be a role for a process of giving people, if they think they've bought something that wasn't worth the money, like something that they have like voted 1 star, or can they get their money back?
Yes. So we do have a dedicated Mojang support team. So it obviously depends on the reasons, because you know that there are EU consumer laws, for instance, that require that refunds be given during certain circumstances. So if your particular reason falls within that, then yes, of course we will. But one of the things that do prevent fake reviews and stuff like that is, one, you can only leave reviews in the game. So we can't have so if you don't even own Minecraft, you can't leave a review on content. Right. And then two,
but as you're saying, is there anyone in the world who doesn't own Minecraft? Yeah, I mean, that's surely a small population of the world. Maybe the same population that doesn't have Facebook. Yes.
Yeah, it may be around the same type of.
Wow.
It may be around the same type, but definitely we have, and they're also always verified purchases. So you don't have to worry about someone, who is essentially like going in there just to review bomb you, because they actually have to purchase your content in order to leave your review. So because we thought about this early on, and we tried to learn from the issues that other places had run across, like Amazon and stuff like that. So
I mean, presumably you've got
think about that.
You've got all of Microsoft to lean back on in terms of like what they would regard or as being
absolutely
a clever system or stupid system.
Yeah, I have to say that GDPR would have been a complete nightmare for us if it hadn't been for larger Microsoft. Yeah, GDPR. The global data privacy regulations in the EU that protect consumer privacy and stuff like that. If it hadn't been for all the awesome folks at Microsoft helping with that, that would have been a complete, and it was for a lot of independent studios, like for instance my husband's, right? Like they had to change a lot of stuff, and then all of the rules about in-game purchases and stuff like that, all of the consumer privacy stuff. So we're very lucky actually to be part of Microsoft, because we get free access to essentially tons and tons of resources. So that definitely helps.
It's weird that you bring up GDPR, and now that I've learned what it is, but like one of the things I was like keen to discover, and I don't know whether you even able to, let alone know the answer, but who plays Minecraft? Is it, as I strongly suspect, is it primarily kids?
No, our average age is 24 years.
Oh, what's your mean age then? Because average age can be like, you've got 100-year-old and 45-year-olds.
That is true. I believe our median is 27.
Okay. All right, so
they're all in the 20s. We have a lot of 20-year-olds who play Minecraft. we have a lot of of course, of teenagers as well. But yeah, we do have a lot of folks who are older who play Minecraft. I think it's just because you hear a lot about like kids and stuff playing Minecraft.
Yeah.
That it's easy to assume that that's the majority of the player or the majority of the player base, and it just isn't. But and that's fine because a
Yeah.
lot of people, but we also have people like who have grandkids and stuff like that they play with. So
Yeah.
we're very much going into, as a game that's now 10 years old, we're now very much going into what's called the second generation of players. So players who played in their teenage years or college years or stuff like that, they are now introducing their kids to Minecraft. And that's actually where we've seen I guess, growth in the cross-platform code base, because there's a lot of folks now who have grown up on iPad,
Yep.
right, or whatnot,
Yep.
and that's what they're used to. And so the kids, that's what they play. So even if the parents were Java players or whatnot, they are now essentially playing Bedrock because that's what their kids play.
So I
So
can
we
see
have,
you slowing down as you're trying to both pick your words and play TF2.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, not easy. Not
Excellent.
easy.
My plan is coming to fruition.
Yes, yes it has. Yes it has.
Excellent.
Your plan has. Oh gosh, I don't remember how to do this.
I say it must be. It's got to be easier to like play games in Minecraft unless you're. I was going to say spleefing, but I'm not sure that's a thing.
Yes, no, Spleef is definitely
Okay.
a game. No, it depends on what game I'm playing. If it's Spleef, then I'm really good at. I mean, I've been now live streaming Minecraft for 5 years, so I'm normally pretty good at having, the being able to play and stuff like that. So, but some game modes are easier than others. Like parkour, I am notoriously horrible. So horrible that I have a, a reputation in the Minecraft community now of being utter and total garbage at parkour.
Yep.
That's how bad I am.
I mean,
That I've actually
I
gained
can
a reputation
sympathise.
of being terrible.
I mean, so long as your nickname isn't terrible at parkour, Helen Angel.
It should be.
Really, I mean, it's a bit. It's terrible when your nickname is longer than your actual name.
That is true. That's true. Though since I've married Luke, nobody can pronounce my last name anymore.
Apart from him.
Well, yeah. Well, and his family.
Yeah.
But like it's pretty funny because my coworkers will actually not be able to remember how to spell my last name. So our
Yep.
last name is Zabili, which is Zbihlyj.
Yeah. There. Good luck with that.
So yeah, exactly,
Good. Good
exactly.
Polish
So
name? Question mark.
it's Ukrainian.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah, I get that. I get that a lot. How do you destroy things again as an engineer?
As an engineer, but
Yeah.
yeah, hit them with your wrench.
Demolish.
Being...
There we go. Okay. I forgot what menu it was in. Okay, I built a teleporter. Oh, well, everybody's already gone off without me, so whatever. Whatever.
I killed Lucky Luke. It's a good day.
um, but yeah, so like if I'm doing a live stream and then doing parkour, like that's when I really struggle
Yeah.
because I'm so just stupidly bad.
Have you? I mean, I've been watching some of the live streams recently with a guy called, but not necessarily live streams, although I know that he's done it as a live stream. Dream. a YouTuber called Dream and something George or Careful George. And Dream, I think, is a Minecrafter that does like quick games done quick kind of thing, where he'll play Minecraft and it'll take him like 5 minutes to win kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Speedrunner, that's the one.
Yeah,
and
speedrunner.
and I think George is a hunter, so like they play it so Dream has like a head start of maybe 30 seconds. Dream's got to finish the game, as in defeat the dragon, before George the hunter can kill him. And that's how they play it.
Interesting. That's definitely an interesting take.
And I've got to say, for in terms of quality content, it is gripping. Like, it's so... having had years of people playing the same game, and I know that Minecraft is one of those games that, due to its sandbox nature, it can be anything. But it's very difficult to build a narrative and have that narrative play out and then have a sense of urgency. Oh, I'm getting challenged again. Pyro lock duel. I'm going to have to play Pyro.
I mean, you're quite good at Pyro, so...
except Pyros are my only weakness against Pyros. I load out entirely if I'm going to go versus... It's worth it. Yeah, so, like, the narrative that they play that way is brilliant. And it is a really exciting and interesting way of experiencing on YouTube. What are your... Have you got favourites? Are you allowed to have favourites in terms of, like, YouTubers or streamers, or do you not watch anyone else?
Oh, no, I watch loads and loads and loads of other people. I try not to... Like, obviously, like, all of the Minecraft community are my community members, so I try really hard to not play favorites or anything like that.
Yeah. But I mean, that's got to be almost impossible, though.
Well, yeah, so I do have people who are streamers and such who I'm actually really good friends with outside of work. So, like, for instance, like, Darkosto is a live streamer, and he lives in the same neighborhood as I do. So I like see him at the grocery store. Well, right. I mean, not now because, you know, pandemic,
well, yeah.
But
back in the days when people saw other people in places that weren't online, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like Direwolf 20, I'm good friends with.
Really?
OMG Chad, I'm good friends with. Oh yeah, Direwolf and I, man, he's a bomb diggity. Yeah.
Because I mean, I've like a friend of mine is dead into Minecraft now. It sort of goes to show he's in his late 30s, and so he was walking me back through the experience of Minecraft and what the strat is and what the current meta is. And he was saying, like, Direwolf is definitely, like, the place to go to, and, like, things are named after players, in particular, but certainly not limited to, like, Direwolf. So, that's a name that even I know. But,
that's great. Yeah, he's fantastic. But, yeah, and, like, I know his wife and his kid. You know, I mean, we're actually really, like, really, really friends. And, you know, that's part of the fun and great thing. And that's... You know, we've had people who also came from the community who are basically like, I guess like they met and now they're married because of Minecraft and stuff like that. So it's pretty awesome.
I was going to say, have you got any sort of gamer children yet? Sort of.
Yes, we do actually. One of our community members, she met her husband on Minecraft, and they just had a baby about 6 or 7 months ago. So yeah, we definitely have Minecraft babies, which is pretty good. But yeah, so it's I think it's pretty awesome. We've got that we have that ability to have, you know, people who have met because of Minecraft and gotten married. In fact, some of our developers met their spouses over Minecraft. So, but then I met my spouse over TF2.
Yep.
So, I mean,
You think
Video games bring people
you got
together.
a better spouse because of that, or?
No, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna be derogatory towards my ex or anything like that. He's great. But but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, any video game, right? You can make those type of very deep connections with other people and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think especially one where you've got people who are spending a lot of time on it, definitely. So we've got, not just Minecraft, obviously, but even TF2 and other games like that.
I
I
want to
mean,
say
Zelda
that
Royale.
I lost
I
that
can't wait
round, but I
until
won
this.
the war.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's all I'm interested in. Yeah, I mean, so I mean, presumably no regrets with the transition then the location you're currently in. Did you end up, have you transitioned anyone from the glorious Team Fortress 2 into Minecraft successfully?
Oh, many people without even realizing it.
Yeah.
There's quite a few folks who, like, for instance, Pretender. I don't know if you remember him. He was a TF2 Outpost admin, and there are quite a few people. Like, there are Minecraft maps in Team Fortress 2. There's quite a few people who already played Minecraft, and like I mean, before I worked at Mojang, I played Minecraft and TF2 as well. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of crossover, but there's been some folks who have, kind of followed me through communities, but that also happened with Second Life as well. So I'm, there's some folks that I was close with in Second Life who now are also, friends with
So
me
you are
in
the
Minecraft.
only the second person that I've ever known to admitted to have played Second Life. It's not necessarily true that they didn't play Second Life, but only two have admitted to it.
Well, I did community management for Second Life servers, so it's on my resume. I can't exactly deny it. So,
Not without losing
but
a whole
like
chunk of your soul.
when people are like, oh wow, there's so much bad, like they'll say something that someone in Minecraft does that's so bad, and then I'll be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah,
It is
well,
nothing compared to the evil of Second Life.
exactly. I'm like, this isn't anywhere near as bad as saying, running around a sim trying to find a tiny single pixel prim that's generating huge images of penises flying at my face. Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing like that happens in Minecraft. So,
I am very
gotta
surprised that
say,
nothing like that happens in Minecraft. Like, with all of the possibilities that exist, how are there not more dicks?
because we have really good moderation, actually. There's well, first of all, like servers, we have on Bedrock, we have partnered servers, right?
Right.
So where we have really good moderation. Realms, we have moderation on Bedrock coming to Java. But like other servers, like, they don't want that on their server either, because, I mean, some servers maybe, but for the most part, people generally like don't want random stuff like that on their servers. So
So,
I mean, it makes sense.
what do you, speaking of like the randomness that happens on servers, how do you guys feel about B2B?
Honestly, most of the people in studio have never even heard of it.
Really?
A vast majority have never even heard of it. I did a report where somebody, I think it was a YouTuber, had talked about it, and people were like, what is that? Like, I don't understand what this even is. So I mean, a lot of people, I mean, I know what it is because I'm a community manager,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? You do you. Whatever you want to do, you do you.
I
If
mean,
you want to play
it's
on 2B2T, then
2B2C, that's the one.
absolutely go. Yeah, then go for it. If you don't, then go for it. Like, it's not a server that we're affiliated with or have anything to do with,
Yeah.
so,
I
you
mean,
know,
like, it
you
feels
do
like it's the
you.
ultimate um, in, like, democratized, what the phrase is. But essentially, like, literally there are no rules. Because
Yeah.
adding rules would be like an non-anarchist. I don't know what the phrase is, but like, you have to have no rules in a society where there is no moderation. It's just like I shudder at the size of the server that is able to run so much of what is hell to
Well,
most.
they've been taken down multiple times too. Like, I mean, they get DDoS'd all the time and stuff like that. So.
Oh, so it's not Mojang that's taken them down per se. But they are being taken down by.
It's other community members. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing too, is because like when you run servers like that, you kind of invite people to do things, like
That wouldn't be tolerated on other servers, or
right.
like just literally break the game as much as possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's just kind of like par for the course. So, but like most people just don't really pay attention to what third-party servers are doing unless they're like a partnered server, right? And then obviously it's very different if it's a partnered server.
I mean, it just strikes me. I mean, sorry to labour the point, but it strikes me as a really good opportunity to find out what the minimum and maximums are. What are the absolutely worst conditions, and what can be done. What can be done to fix things? What can be done to break things?
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting place to kind of have that experiment. I'd love to be sort of a fly on the wall. I would love to find out one day that it's owned and run by Mojang, for example.
Oh, that will never happen. We would never have an anarchy server. We would have like there's no way. First of all, like we have a zero tolerance. So unlike other games that have been not really taking a stand, because our studio stands for equality. Our studio stands for everybody being able to play. We have a no tolerance policy towards any amount of hate speech, and that includes using gay as a derogatory term. We have a zero tolerance policy against all and any harassment, whether it's harassing people because of their age, gender, weight, sexual orientation, etc. So with those no tolerance policies, that means like you can't play multiplayer in our game anymore. Like we're dead serious about it. We're taking a stand where a lot of game companies won't, because they won't.
It seems like a very tough thing to enforce, though.
No, it's actually not. because other players report it, because they don't want that space. They don't want to have,
not necessarily like enforce, but certainly to. I mean, if other players are reporting it, what stops, say, a group of friends from bullying another like person within their group and having 5 people report one person?
Because just like with Steam Rep, we require evidence.
Okay.
And everybody who does enforcement is a professional who... That's the other thing, too, is we get a lot of complaints because people are like, oh, there's no entry-level positions at Mojang. Like, why is that? It's because we need professionals, right? We don't... Like, get your experience working on other games. Our game is not ideal for getting experience.
Okay, so the same sort of policy then that Steam have, where they're only interested in people who have already cut their teeth.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we do. We are part of the Microsoft intern program, so we do accept interns through that. But we don't. But other than that, we don't. Other than that, we do require experience.
So are we on the same team at the moment? Because that would certainly explain why it's getting difficult to have a conversation. We're trying to defend the same line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, spies!
Yeah, I'm making my rounds. I'm a pyro, so I'm making my rounds trying to
check for the spies.
Check all the spies. Get rid of the spies.
Yeah, you an Uber. Do your thing. About to run out. Running away on your own.
Running away on your own. Right.
This is life.
Yeah, but yeah, it's oh great. I got a slamwich.
Nice.
Excellent. I have like an entire page of them. I think vintage ones or something. I can't remember. I used to collect food items and TF2 and stuff, so got a bunch of like Mad Milks and stuff like that in my inventory. My inventory is probably a hot mess now, but it was back in the day. It was organized.
Well, it must have been really important back in the day.
Oh yeah, because people would look at my inventory all the time and then
Yeah.
like send me mean messages on Steam.
But telling
And
you
that, see,
that you don't have a big enough inventory or it's not worth enough or...
no, like you're a Steam admin. Why isn't your inventory organized?
Really?
Like I've got like 200 scam reports I'm going through. Tell me when I have time to actually organize my inventory.
That's, I mean, that is,
Like,
if nothing else, like not being part of TF2 Rep anymore, it's gotta be a huge relief.
I mean, it's yes and no. Like I don't have the like stress that I did from that, but it's just changing stress,
Yeah.
right? So it's now my stress is all related to, trying to make sure that the studio is listening to the community and that the community is behaving and stuff like that. So, which is, I mean, to be perfectly honest, the Minecraft community is pretty awesome. Like, there's a lot of really great folks in the Minecraft community. So I don't generally have like
Well, it's one of
a
those
lot
you
of,
reap what you sow kind of experiences. So if you've already set the standards and the boundaries to not allow this sort of thing or bad sort of things to happen, then you will get good people.
yeah,
Presumably.
absolutely. And I think also because Minecraft has creative mode, right? And it does appeal to people who are there entirely just to create. I think there's like a different, there's kind of a different
Yeah.
group of folks who tend to play as well. Like like the people who are hardcore into like first person shooters, they're generally not interested in Minecraft. Or if they are, it's to play with their kids, or if it's, to, I guess play with other people or to unwind, right? But they're generally not going to be as active in the community. And, that's not always the case either. So, but like, for instance, I saw in a previous server, the wrong server that I was on, somebody who had a extremely offensive name of a weapon.
Right.
And like, that would not fly in Minecraft. Like, not in a million years. And it's stuff like that that makes people, that's the other thing too, is that when you look at player numbers, the more exclusive and exclusionary you are, the more you make people feel like garbage when they're playing your game because you don't have standards and you don't moderate the conduct of your community. The more people are just going to walk away and just not play your game anymore.
Yeah.
Because like if I feel like garbage after playing your game, for instance, actually this happened to me on what's it called, PUBG, and why I will never play PUBG again. It was my first time playing. I was playing with my husband and some of our friends, and I was in the airplane, and somebody asked a question. I think it was like, "How do you drop on PC?" And so I said, on voice, I said, which was my mistake, apparently. Well, I thought, hey, you know what? This is 2020. Surely no one is going to make sexist and derogatory statements at me just because I have a female voice. Nope. So I'm in the airplane and I say, oh, you press, I can't remember what the button was, X or E or something. And immediately people jump in saying, hey, bitch, go make me a sandwich, and calling me all sorts of names, saying that I need to go back to the kitchen, blah, 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 blah. Like stuff you would expect in like, 1950, not in 2020. Like, not, just really not acceptable.
Yep.
And so I played one round, then I uninstalled the game, haven't played since. Because I have so many other games that I can play and not have to worry about harassment. Believe it or not, Fortnite is one of those games. Fortnite actually, now granted, I don't play Battle Royale. I only play the paid mode or Save the World mode.
Okay.
But I had
Well, I
a
mean,
problem once.
presumably it's
with
just you
something.
that's playing that mode. That's why you don't encounter other people.
No, no. I actually have like a group of folks that I, quite a few folks that I play with. But I had a person harass me once. I reported them using the in-game report function. Never had to worry about them again. And even then, they were just building walls around me because I had a female sounding name. That was it. Like they weren't even, doing stuff like that. And you're going to find more and more games. And like Guild Wars 2,
Yeah.
play all the time, never had an issue with harassment. Ever. Because they have a good moderation team. So I don't have to worry about, using, I mean, they don't
About being
don't
yourself.
have voice chat, but yeah, I don't have to worry about the fact that I have a female sounding name and I have a
Yeah.
female avatar, or, I don't have to worry about any of that. And so it's a good experience for me. Whereas like PUBG, I will never play again. And there's quite a few games that, I've got other games I can play, like Animal Crossing, which I play way too much of, right? Like, I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about people coming to my island and telling me to get back in the kitchen. Well, I mean, if they're telling me to get in the kitchen, it's probably
That's
because
probably
I
a
have
good thing
very
in Animal
nice.
Crossing.
Yeah, I actually have a very nice kitchen in Animal Crossing, so
But I mean, Animal Crossing is not really a fair. Animal Crossing is one of those games where like you can only invite friends, presumably, to your island, or I assume so. I've not like got the game or.
No, it is. You can only invite friends to your island, or you can have like a dodo code, which is kind of like our Realms links, where anybody can join. But you're right. But like Fortnite, I get match made with anybody, right? Just random people, and never had a problem with that. Guild Wars 2, never had a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because if you take a hard line stance and you say this is what's acceptable in our community and this is what's not, and we're going to be very clear about these guidelines, and we're going to actually action on them when people break these guidelines, then you set up for yourself a positive community. And I have to say, like, there's a reason I haven't played TF2 in 5 years. And Valve doesn't have community managers. So, I mean, and I think that was very obvious with, what was that Dota 2 card game? I can't
Artifact?
remember what it was. Yeah, when they announced, like, you can tell a studio doesn't have a community team, or maybe their community team isn't doing anything. When you announce a game at an event full of players of a similar game and they boo you out.
I mean, the circumstances for the the Artifact announce were peculiar in as much as people had been expecting a Dota update. Valve.
Right.
It's the same mistake that we at Quizcast made when we wanted to announce that we had the Lo-Fi Longwave, which was we built up the hype surrounding a big announcement that was exclusive knowledge to us. At the same time, people were waiting for a big TF2 update. So when we live streamed ourselves saying, hey, here's the big thing we've got to talk about, we had, I don't know, thousands of people in our live stream. In fact, so many people that when somebody in the conversation decided it'd be a good idea to say that there were hints to whatever we were talking about in the wiki, that it brought down Valve's own wiki page. It appeared to be a DDoS attack. But we launched our thing that was a big deal to us, but it was a zero deal to everyone else because it wasn't the thing that people had been expecting. And we didn't go out of our way to say to people, actually, you're wrong. Like, don't build your hype, don't build your expectations up for the thing that you want it to be because it's something different. And so when they made their announcements, yeah, it was the wrong way of making the announcement. They didn't meet their own player base expectations, so it's not hugely surprising that they got boos. Perhaps not the best of manners for an audience, but it was a live audience. And if
Yeah,
you try and
absolutely.
control your audience without controlling their expectations, that's on you, as opposed
Oh,
to it's the audience's fault.
oh, it's definitely not the audience's fault. I mean, that's the other thing. If they had community managers, they would have known that. And the difference is that you guys are an awesome broadcast that, you're not a professional game studio
Yep.
that has the ability to hire and have a community team, right? It's a choice that you make, right? And their choices have made for products that the community has been disappointed in because they don't believe in actually listening to the community. I mean, sadly, but like I have a lot of issues also with the way that Valve exploits the community, and having been exploited for years myself,
Yeah.
like,
Well, I
but
mean,
I won't go into it because I know that people who are watching this are fans, and
am I healing you right
like,
now? I don't have to spy check you.
yes, you are.
Okay, cool. I
Yes,
mean,
you are
we
healing
did
me.
we did start on this conversation before we went live about your feelings towards Steam as a company, and you even
Yes.
stated when we did go live that one of the reasons you're in the location that you're in at the moment is because you were spy. Sorry, spy disguises me, by the way. Um, that you came to Bellevue because that was where Valve was, and you had
Oh
people
yeah.
who knew that worked at Valve, and um, uh, subsequently your feelings towards Valve have clearly changed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. At one point, I definitely wanted to work for Valve, and now, like, there's not enough money in the world they could pay me that I would work there. Um, like, I have some serious issues with some things that they've done, like ethically that they've done, especially working in the game industry now. Like, um, the you know the like the whole culture of toxicity that
Yep.
they have not only allowed but have fostered. The ability, like, I firmly believe that you shouldn't give Nazis and white supremacists a platform. I
I
mean,
would say that that's a fairly given take.
but that's one thing that they're proud of, giving those people who actively promote hatred of other people, blind hatred of other people, and I strongly disagree with it. I believe in equality, and so I can't.
Well, hang on. I mean, that's a fairly strong accusation. So, what are you basing that on?
Their store,
Okay,
the
so
fact that they haven't removed games from their store that actively promote white supremacy and genocide, and
uh,
that's not. And I mean, that was pretty covered in the news too.
is it something that I could go and look at now? I mean, I've got Steam
Yeah.
open. I don't want to. Shall I just open it in a screen that isn't going to get me like demonetized?
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
Definitely do that in a
I'm
screen
on the
that won't get you
store at the
demonetized.
moment. What am I looking for here?
Um, just look up. I'm trying to think of what a good keyword is that's not too terribly
I
offensive.
tell you what. Let me Google it.
Yeah, yeah. Just there was quite a bit of controversy about it
Should
a
be
few
fair.
years ago. There's also
Yeah.
games that promote rape as well. Also, can't agree with that.
I mean, there's a difference between promotion and featuring something of
That
that nature.
is true. There's a difference between having that as a dynamic in your game, and then having a game that specifically is all about raping and promoting it, which that's what I have a problem with. I don't think that rape in any form should be promoted. I mean, and not just because I'm a woman, in case there's anyone who's like, well, of course she doesn't like rape. She's a woman. If she were a man, she'd be fine with it. I think that there's
I
lots
think
of
that's
men
true.
who aren't fine with rape
Yeah.
too, by the way.
Got a game named. Thank you for not stream.
Yeah,
Okay, the
yeah,
game doesn't exist anymore.
good.
Certainly from the perspective of one that I'm looking at. Oh, Pie's dead. Yeah. Okay. I mean, they've certainly had more than their share of inauspicious circumstances. I mean, the thing that I was sort of gearing the conversation towards was your friends that had previously been working for Valve and no longer do.
Oh yeah, Valve over the years has gone through a series of quiet layoffs and laid off entire groups of people.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and that includes a vast majority of my friends who used to work there. And it's interesting because they are privately held, like you don't hear a lot about it.
Yeah.
Whereas like with a public, like Microsoft for instance is publicly traded, so when there's layoffs, it's everywhere, like everybody knows about it. There's no such thing as like as a secret layoff at Microsoft. Everybody knows about it within minutes of even one person being laid off, right?
Yeah.
So it's that type of, it's
They've
that's really shady.
definitely done things like laid off dozens of people at a time in the past, and those have been reported in the news.
Yes.
And I do recall the time when, like, some of the most awesome people that I've ever known, as developers, not that I've particularly known them as human beings, but being aware of, I think is probably a better way of phrasing that, like Bay Rate, for example, were laid off, but they were laid off in a way that they themselves either weren't allowed to or simply couldn't explain.
Yes, yes. That I also have a problem with. And Washington state laws are actually changing to make it where you can't do that anymore.
Oh, you can't fire someone without telling them, or you can't. Why? Or you
Well, more
can't
like
tell
you
people.
can't. Yeah, you can't make it as a. I'm trying to remember what the law that's being proposed right now is, but I believe it's like you can't tell somebody that they can't tell why they were
Right.
let go, as long as it's not revealing like company secrets or whatever.
Yep.
And hold back their severance because of it.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even thinking that that was a thing. But
Oh
yeah.
yeah, no. I mean it's called basically it's silencing people with money.
Right.
Where if you want to get your severance, right,
Yeah.
you have the severance package, you can't say anything about it. And ethical companies don't do that. Non-ethical companies do that. And so that's why you didn't hear a lot about it until suddenly like person just doesn't work there anymore. But I mean there's a lot of issues, and then the whole exploitation of the community, where you have the community doing things for you that you should be paying people to do, that other game studios pay people to do.
Yeah.
And then you complain about it as a company when people's lives move on. And it's like, well, why aren't you doing this? Well, I'm a volunteer, right? And then there's the whole thing, volunteering for a company, right? There's a difference between contributing to a community and being active in a community and doing things like moderation and stuff like that, and then doing things that should honestly be a paid position within your company, like investigating fraud for over 40 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's. I mean you almost. I could almost hear you moving towards that as being a thing that surely that should have been a thing that Valve were actively engaging in, but weren't. And it, I could certainly see it being a frustration for you from the perspective of like the way that you described last time you were on the show, which admittedly was like 6 or 7 years ago. like
Mhm.
being part of the TF2 rep group, was that it was a fulfilling a function within Valve that should have been fulfilled by the developers, but wasn't, and there was no clear way of solving the problem. So the community went at it or tried to resolve it themselves, and that became a job. It became a second job or a first job or like an unpaid intern for life, and was in no real way acknowledged by Valve.
Yeah. I mean, I do have my,
Shiny.
on my community sparkle gunslinger, which is nice, and
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate. But looking back on it now, especially as someone now who has, worked for several prominent game studios, like AAA studios don't do that,
Yeah.
right? They don't have community fill a function that a paid employee should be filling, especially when it comes to things like fraud, right? I mean, there's entire groups at at game studios and at Microsoft that are paid to detect fraud and to keep bad actors from continually fraudulently basically to keep people from scamming people. And at the time, having only worked for sites that supported game studios and not having actually worked for game studios, I was like, oh, I didn't see any problem with it. And now that I've worked at AAA game
Yeah.
studios, and of course, independent studios are different, but now that I've worked at AAA studios, it's like that's actually completely unacceptable. like, like really, really not acceptable.
I mean, going
So
back possibly to the argument that you placed before, where you were saying essentially Microsoft, certainly Mojang and other studios, wouldn't allow you to work there unless you already had the experience, unless you're already like an A-class citizen in terms of being a community manager. At least games like TF2 and companies like Valve allow you to become an expert without asking you to start off being an expert.
but you can also get that experience without having to shoulder a full-time position, right? Like for instance, also there's a big difference. Like people who do stuff in the Minecraft community,
Yeah,
like if you moderate the Discord or stuff like that, one, I don't tell you what to do. I don't expect you to like. I understand that it's your time is valuable, and that's not a job.
yeah,
So, like, if you don't feel like moderating that day, don't moderate. I don't have any problem with it. And
yeah,
guess what? The Discord will still be moderated because it's my job, right?
yeah,
And if I have written recommendations, I have served as a personal reference for several people in the community who have gotten experience by helping out doing different things in the community. And like, do you think that someone at Valve would have written me a reference?
I have no idea.
Absolutely not. On letterhead? Absolutely not.
But I mean,
But
so
that's what I do for the Minecraft community.
um, okay. But does working within flunk bloody snipers, does working within the you mentioned being like a moderator or administrator within the Discord for Minecraft, and
Mhm.
that is like is an unpaid job. Presumably, you have people who just volunteer and you set them up with rights or give them an opportunity to prove themselves. Is that something that translates later into working for Mojang?
Oh, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. In fact, most of the people we hire at Mojang are from the community.
Right. So they've cut their teeth in order to be hired by Mojang, but they've cut their teeth in your community.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
we also have a lot of folks, like, for instance, some other YouTubers I'm friends with, Echo Soldier and IBX Toy Cat, they started by joining our live streams.
Right.
And now they have their own communities that they manage. And so we kind of also see ourselves as like incubators, where wherever you want to do, we are going to do our best to try to help you with,
Yeah. I
right?
mean,
And
that
we're
is
going to talk
interesting.
to
I
you
mean,
to do that.
the person that I was talking about when I was talking about earlier about people reviewing your content and being disappointed in the value for money of maps is actually Ibix Toycat. So
Yes, I love Andrew. And honestly, he makes excellent points. And you know what I do with his videos? I condense them down into reports and I send it on to the rest of the people in the studio. So making sure that everybody's aware of it too.
he's
So
also,
yeah.
I mean, I almost feel like I'm getting on the wrong side of you saying this, but he's also, of the recent swathe of YouTubers that I've started watching, he's the only one I've decided not to watch anymore because of his reaction to people's reaction to one of his videos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I trust me, that won't get on the wrong side of me. I definitely he can definitely be like he can definitely be caustic. Like there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And different YouTubers aren't for everybody and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't have any problem with people.
Do you?
Definitely doesn't.
So one of the things that Valve said that they don't want to be, but actually have inevitably ended up becoming at one time or another. They don't want to be kingmakers. They don't want to highlight an individual's work.
Oh,
Because
that's a complete lie, by the way. I I think that that's a complete lie. They very much they only king make people that they personally like, because it's very much like a high school type
I mean, that's
scenario.
surely what kingmaker is anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that being true in terms of. I mean, from the reason I'm very reluctant to speak about this particular topic is that I feel, whether they meant to or not, they've inadvertently made Quitscast like a king.
Yeah.
Because we have a hat.
Yes.
Nobody else does. Apart from the wiki.
Right.
So.
And I mean, and that's the thing, is that you can't. Is that there's.
Okay.
So by a studio saying that you're going to have kingmakers.
Yeah.
Regardless, because you are just by nature going to have people who are more passionate about your game and more invested in your game than other people. That's just all there is to it.
How do you stop? How do you prevent that being an issue? Because surely it's got to be something you've got to be watching for as well.
Give everybody the same opportunities to become kings. Essentially, it's not about, oh well, we're going to treat the community, some members of the community, like garbage while we hang out with other members of the community, our friends, because we don't want to be kingmaker. Right. Like, there's not a single person who, if they walk into our Discord today and they are helpful and friendly and they do stuff like that, there's no reason why why they can't eventually become a moderator. Everyone has a level playing field. Right. And yes, there are some people that we talk to more than others because they're more involved, but everybody has that opportunity. It's not like we're like, oh well, we're not going to give you that opportunity because we're kind of cool with our gain over here, and you know what, the rest of you're not allowed this opportunity anymore. Right? Like, we purposely don't work that way, which is exactly the way that Valve has worked in the past. Like, you can't offer an opportunity and then realize people are taking that opportunity and then be like, you know what, psych, just kidding, we don't want to do it because we don't want to king make. Like, that doesn't work. That's just hypocritical. I know I'm being kind of harsh here, but I'm not meaning to be. No,
it's fine. It's obvious that, like, you're very passionate about the value that you're seeing in what Mojang offers, and
well, in community members, like, I genuinely see the value in community and what community members can and do bring. And I think that community members should be allowed the opportunity and not just based on who they know. Like, that makes it no better than like Hollywood or anything else.
Yeah. And we've
Like,
got to be
you
better
guys,
than Hollywood because we're games,
yeah,
and games are
exactly.
our childhood and
I mean,
are
it's just,
and are now rolled into one.
yeah, it's just not fair to like give some people the opportunity and then not give other people the same opportunity. And especially as like a community manager myself, I'm very careful to try and make sure that everybody is continues to get the same types of opportunities, which is one of the reasons also that I love the marketplace, because it's like, if you have talent, you can be a marketplace partner, right? We're not going to say, we have too many people who are like really good, so forget it. We're just going to take away this opportunity. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, there are people today who are like 10, 11 years old, right? Who are training themselves how to make add ons, how to make mods, how to make maps, and stuff like that. Like, when you take away those opportunities, you take away someone's dreams. I mean, that's essentially what it is. And as long as I breathe, as long I'm going to try to make sure that everybody gets the same opportunities so that somebody's dreams aren't shattered because we just don't feel like doing something anymore.
How much? I mean, you brought it back to the marketplace, and I was going to transition this into Day of the Week and giving out the hats. But now I feel compelled to ask something. It is the age limit. There is no age limit for the game Minecraft, so you could be any age from as long as parents give you access to your credit card, for example. You can buy the game.
Yep.
Is there a minimum age you have to be before you're allowed to submit something for the workshop?
Nope.
So literally, as you were saying, like a 10-year-old who's learning how to do some code can submit something. How does that resolve in terms of like payments?
Well, that's where the parents have to be involved, right? That's where it needs to be either a sole proprietor business owned by parents
Right.
or managed by the parents or something like that. Because obviously taxes, like there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
But we actually do have entire families who are marketplace partners, and mom and dad run the business, and kid is the creative.
Hmm.
Like, that's so yeah. You could have like, as long as you have some sort of entity, whether it be like a company entity or whatever, that's willing to assist you, because obviously for tax reasons there has to be something, but as long as you have that, then you have the same opportunities. So, and we do have some marketplace, we have a couple marketplace partners who, like I said, who still have that opportunity. So
Right. I think I stalled for long enough. I need to ask you. We do a thing. We've done a thing for a number of years, and we've spoken about it just a few moments ago, whereby we allow our guests to name someone who has done something awesome in the world of Team Fortress 2. I know it's very difficult for you, but we kind of extended it out a little bit in terms of who is worthy. So is there anyone that you personally would like to name as your own Player of the Week? Bearing in mind that the winner walks away with a vintage lo-fi longwave hat. So maybe someone who plays Team Fortress 2.
yes, I actually have somebody
Would
in mind. So this person works at Mojang, and they have done everything in their power to try to revive Mojang players playing together on Team Fortress 2.
wow.
And he is a former developer of Scribblenauts and Cory in the House. There was a video game, and he goes by the Raddest Bro on Discord. I need to find you his Steam name. But yeah. So Robert Hunt is my player of the week.
Sorry.
Let me find his Steam name.
That name again?
Hold on. Everything just exploded on me. Hold on.
Technical term.
My whole computer just exploded on me.
I think I'm in the wrong screen. I've got a little bit of lag there, and somebody's trying to shoot me out of the sky.
Okay. I'm trying to find his Steam name. You know what? I will just ask him. So Robert Hunt, aka the Raddest Bro, he is a developer. Still trying to find his Steam name.
But let me press the button then. So congratulations to Robert Hunt. You are this week's Player of the Week.
Ooh, yeah! Start the freaking party!
He's a huge fan.
Awesome.
He may be watching right now, actually.
Well, I hope I didn't inadvertently have, for the last 4 hours, be viewing my Steam page, because that's what I looked at when I just checked to press the button. So I don't know how long it's been on that and not on the game. But despite this, or because of it, I think it's time for me to say that it has been an incredible opportunity to talk to you, Helen.
It's been so lovely. It's been too long.
I know.
It's been too long.
I know. It's all my fault. I should have come to Minecraft sooner.
That's fine.
As long as you forgive me.
Oh, of course. Always. Always.
Well, stay safe. I'm sure that we'll all be allowed out of our houses soon.
Yes, maybe.
I can only see it going on for another 1 to 2 more years. So when we're all finally allowed out into the bright, beautiful sunshine, and I don't know if you find yourself in London or if I find myself in Bellevue, please do say hi.
Yes, absolutely. And don't be a stranger. And of course, like any Minecraft questions you have, I'm just a DM away.
Oh.
You know, you can DM me anytime. And
you know you're opening yourself up to a world of pain here.
no, I love it. There are a few things.
Right, I'm gonna ask. I'm a verbal DM right now. When is Java Edition getting RTX?
Well, I will tell you that Render Dragon, which is our powerful new graphics engine that we built from scratch, if we're able to get Render Dragon on Java Edition, then Java Edition can support RTX.
So it's all down to the engine.
Yeah. But Render Dragon is amazing. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
I'm also horribly biased because I'm good friends with everyone on the graphics team. but like just seeing, I mean, you've seen the Minecraft RTX beta stuff. It's like
I have.
Yeah. So
Right.
I think Rob is flipping out right now. I think he's incredibly excited and over the moon.
Nice one.
That's left him completely speechless.
Sweet. Any shout-outs before we let you go? Have you got any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, shout out to the Minecraft community! Being the best community in the world. I love being your community manager. So if you're watching this and you also play Minecraft, know that Helen Angel, your community manager, genuinely loves you and appreciates you.
Okay, it's just got too much sweets now. Gotta kill it before we're all dripping in honey. Thank you, Helen Angel. It's been a pleasure. I will look forward to seeing you in game sometime in the future.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Take care.
Take care.